Hello, 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 and welcome back to the GTD Podcast. I'm the Norix. I speak for the podcast, and I would say we have the usual, but we don't because Devin isn't here. Instead, we have a Canadian to replace him.
Hello.
Yes, even though he is even though he is in a different time zone, he is somehow more awake than Devin.
I don't know how.
I think
Yes.
Devin went to bed like 4 hours ago, probably, from what he said in his sleep.
That's plenty of sleep.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes, we have a Canadian who's named Zach. You may remember him, or you may not, considering the circumstances. He's been on an episode before. I don't remember which one. It was a while ago. And he's still muted.
Yeah, I'm muted.
Yes, you certainly are.
Sorry, I got a little bit of background noise. I'm just gonna try to keep that out of the recording.
All right. Yes, and Matthew's here too.
I am.
Yes, the very useful member of the podcast.
Hey. Just because I only technically play video games.
Technically. Only technically, eh?
It depends what you count as a video game.
Yeah.
All right, well. Oh, I hate it when I lose my train of thought. Outside of our God, we have several things coming to the show. We're going to be talking about what we have been playing this week, or half a year if you're Zach, I guess, in this situation, since you haven't been on in a long time.
Yeah.
Then we'll be taking a look at trailers. We have lots of trailers to look at because, you know what? I don't care. We're just going to go through these. It's not like it's going to take very long anyways. Then we'll be maybe host topic. I don't know. Maybe not. Depends on if we have one, which we usually don't. Then we'll be taking a look at news. Quite a bit of news as well. We have some stupid news in regards to Grant Kirkhope, and some more proper news in regards to the Mario movie and loot boxes, which is always fun because, you know, loot boxes are a nice game mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just wonderful.
And we're moving on to shameless self-promotion and the end of the show. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into things. Once again, we still don't have like a preamble before doing things segment, but it's whatever. We just, like I said before, the talking about what we've doing things sort of turns into preamble anyways. So, Matthew, go for it. What have you been up to?
Well, I've played a little bit of Minecraft. I've been editing some. I've just been busy in regards to that. And I've been playing a little bit more of Pokemon Violet.
Oh. All right.
I personally have not encountered, other than low FPS, I haven't really encountered any bugs from what I've seen.
Well, there was a patch for it, like
even before
a day
that,
or two ago.
It was yesterday.
Okay.
At least that's when I got it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but let's see.
Yes.
I was doing a permadeath run and then I died.
Uh-huh. Do you? Is that in Minecraft or Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Oh, okay. So you were doing a Nuzlocke?
No, not Nuzlocke, just permadeath. Just that part of the Nuzlocke, and no items in battle.
All right.
So no items in battle, permadeath, but you can catch any number of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Interesting. I will say, have you been enjoying Pneumonia or Nimona or however you pronounce her name?
She's
As a
a fine rival.
Yeah, she's basically Goku.
What? I haven't got that far into the games.
No,
I know
not in
she's the
regards to
stronger
that.
trainer.
She people have been comparing her a lot to Goku because of her like crazy need to have a rival. It's
Oh,
just like, I am your rival. Well, we will test to see how strong you are. That kind of thing. Because she is kind of just Goku,
okay, sure.
which is very interesting.
And for this game, I can actually see there's actually an in-world explanation for why she chooses the weakest starter, rather than just
Because she wants a challenge.
Well, yeah, it also has the feeling kind of tutoring someone who's newer, not to the game, like in-world newer to training, which is an interesting idea since she's supposed to be a strong trainer, and I assume you fight her real team at some point.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about with the Goku thing. It's like she's slowly testing you and making you stronger so she can have the best fight with you possible.
Yeah.
Well, one version of it failed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What can I do? Anyway, that's all.
Is that just Pokemon Violet?
A little bit of Minecraft, yeah.
All right.
Haven't I seen you on RPG Maker a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I've been doing RPG Maker. But I don't know that I'd call that a game necessarily. I've been working on that a bit.
It's a program.
Yep.
That's true.
A program, if you will.
It is fun to do, though.
Yeah.
You.
And that is all for you,
Yep.
as you said. Nothing else interesting to talk about.
Nope.
All right. All right, Zach, go for it. However, before you do, I would ask that you reintroduce yourself for the people at home who forgot why you exist.
Well, I'm a friend of Matthew's who lives up in Canada. We knew each other from a long time ago. Or where? I've mostly been working. I like playing a lot of indie games, especially 2 to 3 year old indie games, which is interesting. I'll be honest, I don't think I'm gonna buy the new Pokemon game. Just gonna
That's
put that on the
fair.
table. I've never been a Pokemon fan, and this one doesn't seem that good.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Yeah. What games have I been playing recently?
Yeah, what you been up to? What games have sparkled in your eye like a big pizza pie?
Well, recently,
That's
very
more.
recently, I've played a game called RoboQuest.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
It's an indie game in early access. It's a first person roguelike shooter with really good movement.
All right.
That's probably the best and quickest description I can give of it. Interesting upgrades. Good multiplayer. Like it doesn't feel unfair.
Yeah.
Or too easy. As is an early access, it does seem a little bit short, but
well, makes sense, I suppose.
It's been pretty fun. Went on another trying to beat
What?
Trying to beat Darkest Dungeons run.
Oh, all right.
Played it for about a month straight, then kind of quit again because I don't know. I've never been able to I want to beat it, but it's just painful to play. If you've ever played that game.
I have not personally played Darkest Dungeons, but I know about it. I've seen it. It's very difficult.
It's fun. Currently my graveyard consists, just how many characters I've killed off, consists about 120 characters.
Yep.
And I have the problem of not being able to get enough healers. Well, there's like two classes. I think it's the Valentries or something, and the occultists, and there's one other. Mostly the Valentries and the occultists are great healers, but I just can't get them.
Well, that's unfortunate.
At a good level, like you can get them as if they're like level 0, but like, why would I want to pick them up when I can't even use them?
Why would you take them at level 0? Because then you have bodies to throw at the maw.
That's true. It's true.
When enough bodies, anything is possible.
That's very true. What other games have been playing recently? I picked up the game Have a Nice Death.
We've actually covered that.
Yeah. It's not very well polished right now.
I mean, it's been out for several months.
Yeah. It's just
it even had like an expansion recently.
Yeah. It's good. I won't say it's bad, but like I beat it quite quickly for a roguelite. So
well, it's not just a roguelike, it's a Souls-like roguelike. Light.
Yeah.
Just every genre.
Yeah, every genre.
Soon every genre will soon become a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Do you want a Souls-like dating sim?
And have you guys been paying attention to the magic controversy?
Are you talking about what was it called? The 60th anniversary thing?
Yeah, the 30th anniversary.
Or the 30th anniversary. Sorry.
It was a genius move on their part, selling cards for $1,000.
4 packs of fake cards for $1,000.
It's like, yep. Why?
From what I've seen, the leaks say they only sold like 1,000. Okay, a little close to 2,000 units.
Well,
Here's the
Yep.
thing. They produced like 500,000.
I mean, they probably did, yeah.
Yeah. So
Because Wizards of the Coast is incredibly short-sighted. I mean, so is who's their parent company?
Hasbro.
Yeah, so is Hasbro. Hasbro is incredibly short-sighted too.
Honestly, within the last year, within the last 5 years, that company has been trying to burn its IPs for money. You look at any of their IPs and you can just see it.
Yeah.
They're reducing quality and just pushing new stuff out.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's fairly the case.
Yeah. Even Dungeons and Dragons has that problem right now.
Yeah, which is weird.
If you've been watching what is it called? 1D&D?
Yeah.
The worst named product in existence.
Yeah. It's not well named. A lot of the
It doesn't tell you what it is. You'd have to have prior knowledge to know what it was.
This is the irritating thing to me. I haven't fully read through this, but there was a series of when they were put out the next wave of classes, and I haven't finished reading through them all. But I noticed that they gave a lot of buffs to cleric.
Yeah, I've heard.
Notoriously, now I power game a little bit, so like I won't out of my way play a meta character, but when I build a character, I make them as strong as they can be. They buffed the cleric, the strongest class in the game, by a lot.
Wasn't cleric already really strong?
Yeah. When I say it was the strongest class in the game before buffs. Yeah. And they nerfed rogue for some reason.
It's because in the mainstream of D&D, rogue is really powerful and cleric is really not very powerful.
That's true. Just yeah.
It's because nobody likes to play the cleric because then you're the healer, or else you don't get to do you get to do like one thing every turn instead of multiple things because of the action economy. I mean, that one thing can be casting, I don't know, Call Lightning at like 9th level, but
Yeah. Or what was that spell again?
Not to mention, Call Lightning stays around if you cast it at that level, so you can just keep using it.
Call Lightning stays around for 10 rounds. It's a scary spell. The other one is, I think, Angelic Protection or some Angelic Protector or Angelic Guardian, I think it is, where you summon a guardian, and if any enemy moves, they take 20 damage.
What?
Flat.
Yeah.
No save.
Is this a spell or a class feature?
A spell.
Okay. Yeah. That's still insane, but
a cleric exclusive spell.
Sure.
They're one of the few well, I wouldn't say one of the technically all of the spellcasters have vaguely exclusive spells to themselves, but they all basically all the spellcasters share a spell pool to some degree or another.
Each spellcaster, I'll say this, each spellcaster has at least 3 or 4 specific spells that they get exclusively that can only be gone by other classes if you're playing Bard. With his ability Bard's ability to just pick up any spell. The exclusive spells are usually a little bit more punchy than normal spells, or do a lot of utility. For example, because I've played a ranger recently, the ranger exclusive spells are Swift Quiver, which is a really great spell. There's a thorn arrow one, which you shoot when the next projectile you shoot bursts and hits everything within 5 feet of the target you hit for extra damage. And then it's got one where you can shove arrows into the ground and then they attack people who come too close. It just, I think because the general community doesn't pay attention to spellcasting that much and doesn't realize how good it is.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Because there's some spells that should not have been printed.
Yeah.
There's some spells I completely agree with. I'm not against silvery barbs, honestly enough, even though it was mostly banned to spellcasters. If you're using it to make people miss attacks, it's like having shield in the party, and it's really nice just to be able to go, someone's shooting my fighter, I can just take some fire for him, which is nice, but it's the big problem with silvery barbs that I've started to realize is when you actually cast it on saves, because I usually don't do that.
Yeah.
Couple times I've seen it happen, and most of the time it causes something to die.
I mean, yeah, it's because it forces, it gives you disadvantage, right? That's what it.
No, it doesn't give you disadvantage. It makes them re-roll and take the lower die.
Right.
If they succeed. So if they have disadvantage, you can make them re-roll if they succeed.
It's just a 1 dice reroll.
Yeah.
If they have advantage, that doesn't matter. If they have disadvantage, that doesn't matter. It's just a 1 dice reroll.
True.
Yeah, but it increases the odds of their failure.
Yeah.
By a lot. Like, it's, if they don't have disadvantage, it's basically like giving them disadvantage.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but
yeah.
Let's get off of me nerding about D&D spells.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. I will say, because you brought up the magic controversy, which I had not followed specifically, but Devin told me all about it because, you know, he had been following it, which brought us on to, I will say in regards to that I'm almost certain the only people that bought that $1,000 card thing were like people who thought they could resell it for very high, or scalpers. That's probably the majority of the people who bought it. And secondly, in regards to D&D, since you brought up how they're changing stuff in the new print stuff, this doesn't matter all that much, but like they're changing race to species.
I am all for that.
But here's the thing.
Out of all the changes.
Like, at first glance, you're like, okay, that kind of makes more sense. But then you're like, that still doesn't really make sense because a lot of the races can interbreed with each other.
Horses and donkeys are different species, aren't they? Overall.
No.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
Sort of.
Yeah, I get it.
No, donkeys, horses, and mules are entirely separate species.
Yeah, but they're still
they have a common
part
ancestor.
Of the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The point I'm trying to make is that, like, like half orcs and half elves exist. Therefore, there is a common ancestor between all of the common races, the common player races in D&D, which means that they are more related to each other than they are other things.
Yeah, but then tieflings exist.
So how tieflings came into existence, the lore that brought them into existence has basically been retconned out of existence anyways. Dragonborns came into existence because a fucking meteor hit the planet.
What?
Originally.
Depends very heavily on which type of Dragonborn you're talking about.
I'm talking about when they originally became a player race, which I think was 4th edition. I remember something about a meteor being the reason they existed.
One of the 6, I think, has had meteor in its past. I know Reds were Red Dragonborn were originally slaves created by dragons.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. I haven't read into any other lore into that, so
I mean,
I just know that Reds were a bit of a slave race. And during their freement, they kind of shattered themselves across the plains because they're actually very few in number. There's not a lot of Dragonborns left. A lot of them have died out.
Yeah.
At least in favorite, at least in the Forgotten Realms. Whereas most of the lore is written in.
Well, yes, slightly, but regardless, Dragonborns and Tieflings can interbreed with other races. There's nothing stopping that from being the case.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I think what they're trying to do is take some of there's some things in the game that they're trying to take out.
I know what they're trying to do.
They're trying to clean the slates and make it so that it's more representative of a modern society where people aren't very racist. But the problem is the game is literally built on racism.
Not really built on it, technically speaking, because most of the races in D&D are let's say just taken from Tolkien's lore, like orcs, half elves, or orcs, elves, dwarves, halflings, which are hobbits, humans, all that is mostly a Tolkienism.
So D&D, the original lore for D&D was started off of Tolkien's books.
Yes, it very much was. It's not a secret.
But they actually pulled most of the information beyond Tolkien's books from I think it's Irish folklore. Which was the basis of Tolkien's original books anyways. So a couple of, like, for example, Will of the Wisps, nowhere in Tolkien's books.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But they're quite common in Irish folklore.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Irish folklore was a little bit racist to people because it's folklore from almost 800 years ago, and they didn't like their neighbors that much. So
Yeah.
I mean, the Irish and Scottish still don't very much like their neighbors.
no, not at all.
Those being, obviously the British. I mean, the British Isles are. Wait, are they still the British Isles? Can you even call them the
they're
British
still-
Isles anymore since Britain decided to annex themselves from the rest of the fucking continent?
Yeah, they're still the British Isles, even though they've dubbed
The Scottish Isles and Great Britain. Or
Yeah.
sorry, no, that doesn't work either because Scotland is a different thing. It's part of the same continent, but it's a different thing.
Yeah, I would not want the British as my neighbors. Thank you very much.
Hmm?
They seem very violent and oppressive.
Which ones?
The British.
Here and there. Occasionally.
Most pre-modern societies have done all of those
they
things.
occasionally just, colonize
Conquest,
basically the entire
oppression.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally the largest empire ever to exist,
Mhm.
pretty much, next to the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Just a small thing. Just a small thing. It has had no effects on the modern world at all. I'm certain of that.
Or history.
Yeah, definitely not.
Just a splash in the pan.
Definitely. Yes. Anyways, yeah, I mean, here's the thing though with the species race thing. I know for a fact the people who came up with that are only doing it to what's the word?
Appease shareholders.
Well, yeah, that is, yeah, is to like appease the people who probably don't even purchase their game anyways, but are the people who complain about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And because every company on the face of the planet, if they lose 5 cents, it suddenly goes into panic mode.
No, yeah, definitely. I think this isn't a political podcast. I'm not going to speak my mind about that.
It's not inherently a political podcast. You're correct. It is merely a gaming podcast that turns into anything else I happen to spout about random shit sometimes. I don't even know. Didn't we have like a long conversation about canals one time?
Uh-huh.
My brain was melted after that. Regardless.
Yep.
All right, so that's what you've been doing?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Playing a Warforged Druid. That's all.
Yeah. All right then. Good to know. Good to know. All right. I guess I'll move on to myself. I mean, we could keep talking about that, but it's whatever. It's not super necessary. What have I been up to? Well, let's see. I don't think I've been playing any particular games since last week when I said what I was doing. Let me think. No, I have not recently been playing any games in particular. Even though I said I was going to be playing Dark Souls 2, it just happened not to play it because I was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what, 5th, maybe 6th playthrough Dark Souls 2, because every few months I just go back to Dark Souls 2, even though objectively speaking I feel as though I hate that game, so I don't know why I keep going back.
Yeah, I can't help you there.
I don't know. It's just I've explained this on the podcast before, but just every couple months I feel the urge to play Dark Souls 2 again, and then inevitably I'm going to most likely dislike my time playing it, but I'll get through it.
You hate it so much you like it.
I guess so. There's something about it, I guess, that keeps drawing me back. I don't know what it is, since a lot of the areas in that game are objectively poorly designed and bad. Shrine of Amana is the worst thing in existence. Hey, do you like a long stretch of nicely painted corridor with like stupidly powerful wizards that can shoot at you from a mile away, and hidden enemies in the water that activate if you get too close to them, and giant priests that block you from going any further, and you basically have to kill every enemy systematically in order to get through the area? I love doing that. Shrine of Amana sucks. Shrine of Amana, Grave of whatever it's called, not Grave of Saints. Grave of Saints is too short for me to really care about it being bad. I mean, it's not the worst. It's just really short and small. It has a bad boss, but most of the bosses in Dark Souls 2 are bad. What's the other area I'm thinking of? Grave of something. The Undead Crypt. That's what it's called. The Undead Crypt is also really bad. Even though it's one of the shortest areas in the game, it has this really fucking dumb mechanic where these, random just one-hit kill undead will pop out of the ground and go over to this little bell thing, and they'll ring the bell, which will summon these really powerful wraith monsters. And the only way to stop the wraith monsters from spawning is to destroy the bell. On the surface, okay, that's kind of a neat game mechanic. Unfortunately, near the end, you get thrown into a room with 6 bells, and all of them have a mob attack that can go to them. So if you aren't careful, or if you don't know in advance what is in that room, you will get swarmed by 5 wraith monsters.
That doesn't seem fair.
It's a bad area. Anyways, I'm falling into talking about Dark Souls 2 again, so I'll move on from that. Move on before I take up the rest of the podcast just complaining about Dark Souls 2, which is a game I definitely hate, even though I keep playing it. Other than what I said last week, I haven't been playing anything else. Even though I have lots of games downloaded on my desktop, but that's fine. They're taking up space. It's, I like them taking up space. Yeah, I think that's about it.
I'll be honest. I have over 30 games that I still have played on my desktop. And
sounds good.
Kind of feel upset about it, but
it's fine. I mean, it can't be more than 200 gigabytes, right?
No, one of those games is Civ 6.
Yeah.
That game is a little bit too big for my hard drive. It's not my hard drive. It's just I paid for a hard drive that would hold stuff.
I see. Well, I guess you better get a better hard drive. Maybe. I don't know.
I only have 4 terabytes left on it.
I mean, that seems like a decent amount of space, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that's all for me. Yeah. So, whoops, I'm in the wrong thing. So we will swiftly move on to trailers, and like I said, we have quite a lot of trailers. In fact, I think we have like 11 trailers, but that's fine. Whoops, open the wrong thing again. Yes, trailers. So the first trailer that we are going to be, why do I feel like I just jump into things? I don't know, whatever. Trailers. We're moving on to trailers. This is the first trailer we're going to be looking at. Little Gator Game. And little. It's not little. It's Lil. Little Gator Game. Little Gator Game. I think you can guess why I chose this game to talk about. It's because it's called Little Gator Game, which is the best thing ever. Look at it. You play as a little guy. You play as a little gator. He's got a hat and a shield, and you can throw rocks. And you just explore the island. You explore. You get a big island to play around in. You just explore. You do combat. You slide around. You solve mundane quests for the inhabitants. It's great.
You're definitely playing a little gator. That's very true.
Look at it. It's adorable. Fucking look at it. Also, I should bring up this other thing. Not you. That is what I wanted, but yeah, Little Gator Game. Release date announcement trailer specifically. Well, actually, is this out yet? No, this isn't out yet. Go away. All right. The Little Gator Game. I mean, I kind of explained what it was, but I'll just go through this very quickly as well. Oh, whoops, I forgot to change to this. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I need to change to this. Oh, come on. Why you gotta load slow today? Why does everything have to be slow? Anyways, but Little Gator Game. As I said in my dumb tone, both of you are muted. As I said in my dumb tone, it is a game where you play as a little alligator, going around an island, solving quests, exploring, doing a little bit of combat with your little sword. You fight cardboard cutouts. I think I should say that you fight cardboard cutouts. There is no danger on this island, only peace and love. I mean, there might be some danger, but the enemies are cardboard cutouts, so you know. This is being hold on. I will just read the sort of not description, but the what's it called? I'll just read this. Embark on an adorable adventure, discover new friends, and uncover everything the island has to offer. Climb, swim, glide, and slide your way into the hearts of the many different characters you meet on your travels. What is it? What's the word for that? It's not like a description. I mean, it is kind of a description, but it's not. It's like a what is it called?
Synopsis.
Synopsis. That's what it is. That's what I'm looking for. But yeah, little Gator Game. It's being developed by Mega Wobble, which is just a fun name for a developer. Mega Wobble. They mean, hold on, let me check. The next game from Mega Wobble was a developer. I mean, I try and pay attention to developers, but there's so many of them. They have had previous success with other games. If I can fucking bring this up. I believe, hold on a second. Oh, here it is. Okay. Wait, really? Is this their first game? I thought this was. I'm getting All right, maybe this is their first game. I'm getting conflicting information from my brief search for some reason. So Platonic Games, Platonic Friends, Little Gator. Regardless. Oh, okay, never mind. I think I know what got me confused. Okay, why does that? Screw you. For some reason, the thing I was looking at listed the published titles underneath the game studio, even though the game studio has only made Little Gator Game. But for some reason, the people who are publishing it got that's why I was confused. Anyways. Yeah, anything to say or add to this experience?
Well, does look like a very adorable game. Kind of looks like an interesting game that I might have to look into. Play it a little bit before I have an opinion, but yeah, it seems like an interesting game.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer and stuff is in the Discord, so I assume you watched.
Yep.
Okay.
Like 5 minutes of it, I think. I didn't have much time before getting onto this.
All right, that's fine.
Might have been the only trailer I watched here.
That's whatever. You can
know
watch the other ones
Amnesia.
while I talk to myself for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like when
3 minutes.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like when I get to the next trailer, because I talk a bunch before I ask. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Matthew, just gonna reset for a second. Going back. Okay. Now I can continue. What were you going to say, Zach?
Oh, I was just going to point out I do know a little bit about the next trailer, but
oh, I see.
Not that much.
All right. Well, I guess you'll get to say stuff about it when we get to it. For now, Matthew, what about this game? What about Little Gator Game? Does it make you feel warm inside?
It's definitely a game.
Whoops, no, not that. It's definitely a game, eh? Definitely a game. But the island is your playground. It's a joyful exploration. You can make friends. You got crafty customization. You got Bob buddies. Come on. What's not to like? What's not to
Not
like?
my type of game.
All right, fine. Yes, little whew. It's hard for me to say that. Lil Gator Game. We'll be releasing quite soon, December 14th, on Steam and other platforms, I believe. Hold on, let me check. Yes, we'll be releasing on Steam, Nintendo and Nintendo Switch soon. Nintendo 14th, yes. December 14th released. Also, I mean, I would not I don't encourage pre-ordering games regardless of what they are. I will, however, say that it is 30% off if you want to pre-order it. Not that I recommend it. That might still be the case by the time this episode goes live. But regardless, Platonic is the publisher, by the way. Wait a second. Oh, man. I just realized Platonic is... Oh, wow. Playtonic has actually published quite a few interesting games. Well, at least they have a good reputation as far as their games are concerned. I don't know about their company because I haven't looked into it. But anyways, is there a problem?
I'm gonna have to run out for a minute. I'll be back.
All right. All right then. Matthew, talk more about Little Gator game.
I don't think I will play it.
All right. In that case, give me screen sharing capabilities. Sorry about this. This is a new thing I wanted to try out. Instead of just telling the audience to look in the description to see what we're talking about, because before I used to, this isn't something that needs to be discussed on video, but regardless, just give me screen sharing capabilities.
You have it. Oh.
Well, that's fine. Here's some Little Gator game. Let me just hold on.
Yeah. Yep, it looks like a game. It does.
Yeah, this is a Little Gator game.
Yep.
All the fun little things you can do in it. Play! You can play. Look at this. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Yes, little Gator game. Obviously, as I said, releasing December 14th. So have at that if you will.
It is indeed a game.
Also, I guess we'll just be right back. Recording. Yes, hello, back once again. I don't know what Zach had to do, but he's back. Therefore, he's back.
True.
Let's just say some dogs decide to yell at me.
Ah, yes, the ever-present animals in all of our lives.
We love them, but sometimes they just need to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, regardless, Little Gator game. I've already said when it's coming out, December 14th. All that good stuff. I mean, I think that's basically it for this, unless either of you have something more to say.
I looks adorable, but we'll have to see what it is like when it comes out.
You are correct. Always gotta have those good first impressions. Yes, that and that was Little Gator game. Moving on to the next title. Do not be. God, I'm so fucking unprofessional. Open this too. All right, next up on the docket is basically in the opposite direction of Little Gator game by a wide margin. This is a horror game, which is Amnesia the Bunker. The official announcement trailer. This is the next game from obviously, where is, hold on, I have this open. Oh my god, why are you guys loading so slow? This is the next title from Frictional Games. It's obviously the technically fourth Amnesia game, if you count Machine for Pigs, which I mean, I guess you should, but it wasn't made by the same people. It was made by the Chinese room. So, you know, if you count Machine for Pigs, Amnesia the Bunker is the fourth Amnesia game. Amnesia the Bunker is a first-person horror game from, well, they are from Frictional Games. And it is set in a desolate left alone bunker during World War One. I'm not sure why it's set during World War One. I guess we'll see. The teaser itself does not show very much of the game. However, thanks to some glorious descriptions and other sources I have at my disposal, I will tell you what the game is. So first of all, I will just read this blurb here. Amnesia: The Bunker is a first-person horror game set in a desolate World War I bunker. Face the oppressing terrors stalking the dark corridors. Search for and use the tools and weapons at your disposal while keeping the lights on at all cost. Overcome fear, persevere, and make your way out alive. So that's kind of the synopsis there. To give you more information about this, I will go into, so what to do. Where was it? This Amnesia game is going to be a little different from any of the other frictional game titles, such as Soma or the other Amnesia games, or Penumbra for that matter. Sorry. This game is going to be featuring unscripted semi-open world horror. So for the first time, players are equipped with high levels of freedom to impact gameplay, choosing their playstyle as they explore at will. With hardly any scripted events and constant tension brought about by an ever-present threat, it is up to each player to finesse their approach to survival. Game, incorporate emergent gameplay and sandbox elements as players in the role of a French soldier hunted by an adaptive otherworldly creature. Explore a dimly lit World War I bunker armed with a revolver and a noisy dynamo flashlight. Flashbacks. Explore and experiment using wits and whatever tools are at their disposal. Various challenges, yada yada. You get the point. So, this is a quasi open world sandbox horror game. Which is very interesting to say the least. I've seen some discourse saying that this might make it not as scary because if there's no scripted scaring events, then that means players can literally just ignore any and all scares if they choose to do, because they're, it's made by them. I've seen some people say that, but I've also, from a personal perspective, and I'll get this out of the way before anything else. From a personal perspective, this kind of sounds like what Alien Isolation was doing. If either of you have heard of that game.
I feel like I've heard of it.
You might have heard me mention it.
Maybe a while ago.
Well, Alien Isolation was a very popular horror game back from 2016, I believe. Wait, no. Much earlier than that. Well, not too much earlier. It released on the PS3. It wasn't a launch title for the PS3, but it released on the PS3. So it must have been earlier than 2016, since I think the PS4 was out by then, and it would have been on the PS4 otherwise. Regardless, Alien Isolation is, as the name implies, a title set in the Alien universe, and the whole idea behind the game was that you're playing as a defenseless human who is constantly on the run from a single xenomorph.
Mm-hmm.
The whole game was this somewhat large environment where there were other enemies. I think there were synthoids or whatever those things were called. You know what I'm talking about, the android things. Mm-hmm. I think those were in it as well, but I don't recall if they were specifically a threat or not. But in Alien Isolation, the only real threat was the single xenomorph. So, and it wasn't as far as I'm aware, I don't think there was any particular scripted like you go around a corner and suddenly it's there. I think it was literally a creature that was constantly just around and following you. So it was like this singular entity that was always just somewhere.
Well, we'll definitely have to see how they've set this up. This is just the early announcement trailer, so we won't get much information from this.
Yes,
for a
you
while.
are very much correct. You know,
but done well, I do think it would be possible to avoid, with knowledge ahead of time, avoid encounters.
yeah.
But I think for a first-time playthrough, avoiding encounters with the monsters will be on the harder side, because you won't know when or where they'll happen.
That is true.
So I guess with a second playthrough, you'd be able to avoid all the scares, but at that point, you're on a second playthrough.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. So, because yeah,
Could be really.
But yes,
could be interesting for speedrunning though.
That is true. Speedrun horror game. Get out of here, monsters! I'm trying to beat this. Yes, I do think. I will say I think it's interesting. This is the first game in the Amnesia series, at least, as well as Soma, since that was made by this. Like, you have a revolver. Like, you have a revolver. You are able to attack things in this game, which I think is interesting.
Whenever a horror game includes a weapon, it's always a concern, because now they have to balance. Now I'm going to talk about a really old game, Resident Evil. Not any numbers after it, just Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil,
really
the first one.
The first one did a really good job of this, where as you played the game, the whole point of the game was just having enough bullets to actually survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go and play any of the other Resident Evil games, it doesn't hit as hard, because like, I think it was RE4 I was playing. I don't like that game at all. It's bad.
Well, many people would disagree with you.
Mainly the movement.
Was it RE4? Well, it was tank controls. All of the games have tank controls.
I know. They're very questionable. Oh no, I think it was RE6 that I was playing.
RE6 does not have tank controls. Also, that is a fucking B movie.
Sorry.
It's not even a B movie, actually. It's a giant blockbuster explosive kind of horror experience where Chris Redfield goes up against a giant, where Chris Redfield's friend gets a big mutated lightning alien arm.
Yeah. The problem I was having in that game was that I just had so much ammo, and I wasn't concerned about the zombies actually getting to me before I ran out of ammo.
Yeah.
Unlike the whole root of the game, which was trying to figure out how to survive with the limited resources you have.
Yeah.
So my hope is that they do get that balance right, and that you're constantly struggling to figure out how to stand up on one leg.
Yeah. Because like you said, obviously, if you give a player a weapon, you suddenly give them more agency in the world. Like, giving one of the best ways to make people uneasy and fearful is to remove as much agency as possible. That's why, even though it's very maligned in this day and age, the first Five Nights at Freddy's was an incredibly good horror game because there was very little you could do to help your predicament. The only thing you could do was control the doors and hope for the best. Like, listen to the noises, close the doors when you need to, and just manage your power. There was very little agency in that game.
Yeah.
Which is what made it really scary.
And
yes,
it's just like any game, they just have to figure out how to balance it right, and we'll see if they have or if they haven't. It's just horror is very, in my opinion, horror is the hardest genre to get right.
Yeah.
Because too far in the shooting direction, you make an action game. Too far in the difficulty direction, you just make a piece of language, garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what you did, it's really hard to hit that sweet spot where it's actually a good horror game. But done well, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, yeah, I don't have much else to add to that outside of like horror. I mean, like, just to vaguely add on, is like one of the biggest reasons horror is hard to do is because horror is not a mainstream. Like, horror is not mainstream, and it can't really ever be mainstream because of what horror is. You know what I mean? It's like horror can be for a lot of people, but the general conceit of horror is to be scared at least some of the time, and there are people who don't like being scared any of the time.
And I agree with that. It's not for everybody. Just like how some people don't like multiplayer shooters that much.
Yep.
First person shooters.
Yeah.
And everyone is different. Doesn't mean we shouldn't strive to create a good game.
Yeah, that is very true. I'm sorry. Just anyways, I don't know. I just thought that was funny for some reason.
So is there an announcement, a launch date yet, or?
Well, as far as I am aware, oh yes, it certainly is. So it is coming sometime in March next year. So March 2023 is when it's coming out, which means it's only a couple months away, actually.
Yeah, that's not that far.
Yeah, that's not too far away considering. I mean, it looks, just based on some of the other images and stuff I've seen, it looks like they're like somewhat far in development. There's a decent amount of environments that we've seen thus far, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And as per the usual, coming to all your local consoles except for Nintendo Switch and Steam. Next March next year. Also, what was I going to say? What was the other? What? I'm terrible at this. Well, here is a quick, just out of, frick me. The Amnesia, the bunker, obviously. And I guess, I mean, I suppose say that, I don't know. I've seen people say that the setting, like they're not using the setting effectively, which is the World War One bunker. And like I can kind of see that. It's just one of those things where like if you're I get it. It's like if you're gonna set something World War One, why would you not do anything with the war itself? Or like any of the horrors that come from the war. However, I will say, like as of we haven't seen very much, so maybe they will do other stuff. But as far as I can tell, it's mostly just set in a bunker. Like you're in a World War One bunker, and I haven't seen. I mean, it doesn't look like there's any outside environments that I've seen. So, I mean, maybe there is. I guess we'll see. But you know. I suppose overall, I kind of agree, but I also am fine with just, you know, using the time period as a setting overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Matthew, I'm sure you have plenty to say about this, right?
Well, it is a game. And games are games that people enjoy playing.
You don't say.
Yep. I have no interest in playing it, at least at the moment.
Well, you don't like horror
fair.
games, so, you know.
Yeah, that's...
You're
like
one of those
horror
people who
games.
don't like being scared any of the time.
No, that's not the main reason I don't like horror games, actually. I have a very vivid imagination. And I don't want the horror image stuck in my head.
So you don't want to be scared.
If it's too realistic.
Okay, whatever. Whatever you
I don't know if
say.
it's totally applied to just not being scared.
Well, what would you...
I guess I think I could personally better equate it to being disturbed. And the more tired I am, the more skittish I become. So
All right, then.
that doesn't help. Skittish, is that right? Is that the right word?
I don't know. I mean, I will say, I personally haven't played any of the Amnesia / Soma. I haven't played any of Frictional's titles.
Skittish is easy.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But that's partially just because most of their existence, I haven't had something that could play them. Now I do. And I do actually have Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which I do plan on playing at some point. So that'll be fun.
2 years later.
Listen, man. Just because I'm incredibly consistent with my lack of playing games doesn't mean you can come in here and accuse me of not playing games.
Actually, I think that's exactly what I can do.
No, it can't. Moving on to the next title.
What? Wait, what just happened?
Anyways, the bunker. It looks interesting thus far, but otherwise, we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like you could say that about most things, but you know.
Yep. So,
all right. Sorry. Next up on our list is City of Murals. I don't know why there's like another title that's like AKA Come Up. I don't know where that comes from, because I never found anything that would relate to that.
It might have been a development title or something of the sort.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. There's like a working title. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. It might have been a working title.
Well, City of Murals is definitely the final title. Come Up was presumably the working title.
Yeah. It was probably the working title.
Yeah. All right then. But City of Murals. This is a very interesting little game. City of Murals is this strange looking sort of, I guess I would call it action adventure game, where you explore very different very different looking large environments as this little weird robot thing. All right, I'll just read this. So City of Murals is a cute and gross action platformer roguelite. Explore a colorful world with violent and non-violent guns, special traversal abilities, and creatures that range from friendly to deadly. The world is competing to see who can live the longest. How will you survive? So from some more of the descriptions of the game itself, it apparently uses Metroidvania elements, which I assume means that you traverse the same areas and backtrack. That's probably what it means. I don't know what else it could mean.
Yeah, it's going to be backtracking and gated progression.
Yes, and also the rogue light part of the description is every time you die, you level up.
Yeah. So we're looking something like Dead Cells or Dead Cells is probably the best example that I can think of right now.
I mean, I guess, but like visually and gameplay wise, it's much different.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be different. But
It also has this like, it has like this I don't know how to describe it. It's like this clay kind of patchwork art style. You know what I mean? Like it kind of looks like some of the stuff kind of looks like clay, or has this like weird patchwork vibe to it.
mm-hmm.
The environments themselves look very interesting and vast. Good job, you described a thing. Good job, me. You described a thing in expert detail on that one. So, like, I don't know. I mean, completely lost my train of thought on that one. Regardless, I mean, I guess overall, I would say, why have I lost my train of thought? Quickly, somebody else talk.
Words.
Well, it looks like a very clean aesthetic for a roguelite.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Oops, fuck. Why have I've completely lost everything. I mean, the gameplay itself. Hold on. This is roguelite. One second. Okay, never mind. For some reason, I thought it was co-op or like had multiplayer elements in it. It does not. But I mean, whoops, fucking go away. Keep clicking on random stuff and messing my settings up. Let me just try and backtrack in my mind for a second. So I've explained what City of Murals is pretty much. The game itself looks like aesthetically pleasing at the very least. And I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I guess I'll just go to that because I've apparently run out of descriptors.
Yeah. It looks like a very clean art style roguelite. I can't tell from what I know what the combat's gonna be like. Could be Risk of Rain combat, could be like there's a lot of options we could be going with.
Well, based on the trailer itself, it appears that you have some kind of gun shoot abilities.
And being Metroidvania, so that usually means its progression is locked behind gates that you have to backtrack through. Whether this is those gates are locked by the roguelite section of the game, I'm not sure.
Possibly. It's an interesting mashup of things, especially because it's not open world, but the environments you explore look pretty big. So it's these very vast open levels at the very least.
We'll have to see with that once it releases.
Yeah, developed by Brotherly. Hold on, let me just. It's being developed by Brotherly, which is a somewhat new developer by the looks of it. Only has City of Murals. Wait, City of Murals has a demo out? There's a demo for this game as well. Or there isn't. There might have been a demo at some point. For some reason, it still lists that there is, even though there doesn't appear to be a button to do the demo-y download thing. So that's weird. Regardless,
might be a closed beta.
Oh yeah, that might be the case. It was being developed and published by Brotherly, a new developer by the looks of it, just based on what I can
gather from
from if I can hold on, studio, I can spell, go away, there you go. Kind of hard to look up because of their name. Regardless, appear to be fairly new development studio, and they're self-publishing. I mean, regardless, coming out January 2023, which is pretty soon, actually. That's pretty soon as well. It's only next month. It's coming out sometime in January, from what I can tell. It also will be on itch.io for those who use that site. So you can have a look at it on itch.io and Steam. It's coming January.
Just double checking that you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Were you saying stuff or?
Oh no, just was having mic problems there.
Okay. What about you, Matthew, or just in general?
Looks like a game.
All right, cool.
That's my opinion of a lot of these.
Yeah, I think personally, I think it looks pretty interesting. The thing that sort of gravitated me towards this was just sort of the very large open environments, which look pretty impressive, especially from a new studio. They're definitely putting their work in, regardless whether it'll be polished or not is up for debate. But I guess we'll see by the time January hits. Regardless, that's City of Murals. Goodness. Hold on a second. Moving on to our next trailer of the day. We have quite a few left to get through, so I'll try to get through these a little faster since fucking oh boy. Okay. Next up, a slightly strangely named game called 1000X Resist. Or given the aesthetic of the game, it might be Cross 1000 Cross Resist. But 1000 Cross Resist is my words is a cinematic narrative adventure a very stylish narrative, sort of like interactive narrative game where you explore environments and go about like, making choices, going down on this story and whatnot. Sorry. Sorry. 1000 Cross X? Who knows? What do you guys think? Is it Cross or X?
Let's just go with X for now.
All right.
So quick description. I haven't watched the trailer yet. Sorry.
All right. Well, in that case, I will just from the trailer, let me just read the synopsis real quick to get us up to speed. Delve into a hyper cinematic adventure. You are a clone. You live at the world's end. You worship the last surviving human, the All-Mother. When a dangerous rumor shatters your faith, you phase through time and memory to expose a 1,000-year-old lie. Relive, reclaim, resist. So yeah, the title is in response to the like resist the lie. One, it's like literally, it's in the trailer. It's resist the lie. So 1000X Resist. It's kind of interesting title. You're muted.
Weirdly enough, it actually does remind me of another game. At least that description of the last human being worshipped by not humans. Mega Man? Late Mega Man?
Late Mega Man.
There is one less human, and they said one less human does end up dying later in the story. I think it's like the last Mega Man game too. I don't know where that reminded me of it, but it does It does seem like an interesting plot.
Mhm.
RPG.
Well, I mean, it's not an RPG is the thing. It's a narrative adventure game. So it's kind of in the style of like, I guess Heavy Rain is a good like catch-all example for like narrative adventure. Even though like I wouldn't say Heavy Rain is particularly like this game. Also, it isn't made by David Cage, so we're safe. We have no Cage.
Or how about Stanley Parable is another good example.
Yeah, I guess. I guess that's a good one.
Although that is just one giant meme.
Kind of, yeah. It's just fun stuff.
If you've played it, it's a giant meme.
Yes. But to give you some more descriptions about this game in regards to what you will be doing in it, you relive the memories of a god, reclaim your legacy across time, resist a 1,000-year-old lie.
Weird. I think that's
Sorry.
all I got here.
Sorry, I started laughing a little bit because on this little page here, there's like redacted text in the descriptions, and if you hover over it, it's like a weird like obey the All-Mother, a dangerous rumor. Someone has tampered with history. It's weird. It's like these redacted bits of text. It's kind of funny.
So when is this one coming out?
Well, no specific release date. We just know 2023. It is being developed by Sunset Visitor. Let's see. Recently, is this something they made? No. So, okay, Sunset Visitor. Okay. So Sunset Visitor is the developer. I believe this is their only title. Let me check if I can find something more specific about this. Don't trust what I was looking at. The Facebook. Oh, here it is.
The art style does look interesting though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it sort of has this like what's the term? Is it sepia? Is that the term?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not an art fanatic.
I think sepia is what it is. It kind of has this like not blur, but like I think sepia is the right term. Regardless, Sunset Visitor is development. I believe this is their only title as far as I can tell. New developer being published by Fellow Traveler, which is a publishing studio that publishes a lot of indie titles. So they're pretty well known in this space.
Anything else we have to say about this one?
Well, I will say, apparently, as far as I can tell, don't know why I started singing. All right. Well, in regards to that, if I can just do this really quickly. Yeah, 1000 X resist or cross resist, depending on your, I don't know, inclination. Because I feel as though I haven't explained the whole narrative thing, like the narrative, like it, I don't know. I guess another good like okay, like outside of it being like a narrative adventure game, it does seem to have more like concrete gameplay elements. Like there's this ability that you where you like zoom to different places. It appears like you can control time. That's actually one of the major things, is that you can actively control time. I don't know why I didn't bring that up. That's like one of the bigger key elements. Fucking, I'm a dummy. One of the bigger key elements is that you can actually control time and like maneuver events.
We'll see if this actually goes well. Because there's a lot of good titles with time travel.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually no, there's not a lot of good titles with time travel. I would say I know two that are actually good with realistic time travel.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those is Titanfall.
Okay. Yeah, just to try and explain the control time mechanic a little better, because I feel like I didn't do a very good job. What I mean when I say you can control time, I literally mean like you can control. It shouldn't be hard for me to explain this. So you will come across, it might be like an ever-present thing, but as far as the trailer is concerned, you will come across events in which you can control the time forward and backwards to see the full extent of what the event was. So it's like they're like in the trailer, there's like this girl on like a street corner, and you like move time forward and she slowly walks like down the street or whatever. You get the point. That's like a good simple example of it. It's mainly a puzzle element, I believe, and nothing like, because in terms of like gameplay, it's I assume outside of like puzzle solving, there isn't much else to the actual gameplay outside of just like exploring and going through the narrative, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that's kind of what it is. Regardless, what about you, Matthew? Are you just gonna say whatever again, or
No, it does have potential, it looks like
okay.
Zach said. But yeah, time travel is hard to get. It's hard to get time travel mechanics right, or at least well done.
Mm-hmm.
Get them right, however, and they are an amazing game.
Oh yeah.
Get them wrong. Good luck.
Yep.
I suppose, yeah.
Not enough games have gotten them right. I guess Majora's Mask is another good example of good time travel mechanics.
I mean, yeah, that was a time loop where you had like a set amount of days to do everything.
It's true.
And you would go back to the beginning.
Yeah. Now, the only one that I can really think of that used this as like a puzzle is Titanfall.
Mm-hmm.
Where they had a level where you jump back and forth between points in time. I'm not sure if you've played Titanfall 2 yet, the campaign.
I have not, unfortunately.
So there's a level, it is the best level in the game, where you have the ability to jump back and forth between the present and the past.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, the effects you do in the past change the present. And for example, you can make the security mad at you in the past. If you make the security mad at you in the past, they'll come out and attack you in the present.
Mm-hmm.
It is a first-person shooter, so you can have a combat where you're both fighting in the past and the present at the same time. And you have to jump between combat scenes, so you're in between two combats. It's really interesting.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it.
and some of the robotic enemies have the ability to come forward to the present. So if you don't kill them in the past, they're in the present as well, which is scary. But as soon as you kill them in the past, they die in the present too.
Yeah. Whoops.
It's interesting, at least.
Sounds like it. Whew.
But we'll have to see what this game does.
Yep. I mean, that's the case for all, but coming out sometime next year, and will be coming to Switch, Steam, Good Old Games, and the Epic Game Store, as well as Humble for reasons. You can get it on Humble at some point in the future.
Usually games end up there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yes.
What-
Sorry. What'd you say?
So just from the title of the next one, it looks like we've got a dungeon delving game, maybe?
Ah, yes.
Next up on the That's just
hold on, let me bring this up really quickly. You are somewhat correct, I believe. Well, I looked over these. It's not like I know that. Next up on the docket, we have Arran, the Book of Heroes. Arran, the Book of Heroes is a top-down is a top-down sort of action. It's Diablo, you know, it has that like top down, you're controlling a character kind of like in a Diablo-esque way. Or what is that other game series called? Oh man, what is it called? Oh, whatever. Regardless, Arran, the Book of Heroes, is a co-op hack and slash dark fantasy adventure with some RPG elements, because every game under the sun has RPG elements nowadays. You can play solo or with up to 5 online players in the dark dungeons and barbaric lands of Arran. So it is kind of like a dungeon crawl, fight your enemies, go through the levels, co-op adventure that you can also play singles as well. I'll also go and read the synopsis for this. Arran is a hack and slash co-op dark fantasy adventure with some RPG elements. That's what I said before, but whatever. Gore through enemies solo or along with up to 5 online players in the dark dungeons and Bargain Zurich. Loot unique equipment, completing campaign quests where the final victory is only for the skilled.
so dungeon crawling roguelike.
I mean, it's not a roguelike or a roguelite for that matter. Because it doesn't have roguelite elements. There isn't like a constant going back or what have you, or going through the same things over and over again. It's you go through the dungeons, you go through the missions, the progress through a wide range of missions, making your way fighting the epic enemies in their ravaged world. And it's co-op, as I said, so you can play with many people. There are 5 different unique heroes you can play as with a set of weapon skills and combat styles. You can customize your hero with unique epic weapons and armor, as well as unlocked perks. Obviously, when you loot stuff, presumably at the end of dungeons, you can earn rewards of gold, experience, legendary equipment to get your heroes ready for the final confrontation. So there's lots of. I will also say this game does have a demo, so feel free to check it out. Any game that has a demo is automatically like 5 points ahead of any other game in my book, just because demos are the best things in the world. Personally, I get it, but it's like I feel like if you can provide a demo for your game, I just automatically I feel like you've earned a couple more points.
I agree with that too. It makes the game better.
Yeah, because you can
Finish play the
check
game.
it out. You can try before you buy.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of developers, well, not developers, I feel like a lot of people don't go for demos because, especially in the AAA gaming sphere, because that would require them to have confidence that their product is actually playable at launch.
Yeah.
So there's that. I will say there have been the more common thing that has been happening recently is like closed betas. There's been a lot of those recently for different things.
I kind of agree with the closed beta model as like game tester, getting some of your close fans of game testers.
Mm-hmm.
But a closed beta isn't a replacement for a demo. It's
no,
you getting feedback on an unfinished game.
Yeah, very much the case. Not usually the I mean, it works. Like if you have confidence that your game is going to be, because it's like that's the thing. Like it's all about confidence. If you have confidence that your game is going to be liked, then or successful, then obviously a demo or a closed beta is a no-brainer because it gets early adopters in faster because then they can play it and see if they actually enjoy it, which means that they'll be more likely to either pre-order or buy it at launch.
I think a closed beta with any game should be something you think about, especially with a multiplayer game. But a demo is something you should also think about just to see if, because nowadays with the price points of some games,
yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
Just to see if you're interested in it, because a lot of people are thinking that they're interchangeable, but like they're two different ideologies.
Yep.
Like how people need to understand that early access is not the same ideology as dev build for release.
Yeah.
You've seen those before, right? Where someone puts an early access game out and it literally just feels like a dev build.
Yeah, where it's like it's called early access, but what it actually means is this is a sandbox with your character in it and you can do stuff and it's there. It's a game kind of.
It's partially there, but like make it playable.
Yeah.
So what is the publisher this time?
Well, this is being developed and published by Pulsar Studios. There's like a what are those called? The little thing above the, what is it? A dash. There's a dash between Paul and Sir. Pulsar. I guess it would be called Pulsar. Pulsar Studios. This is another brand new developer, as far as I can tell. First game on the docket. To be fair, that isn't super surprising. There's like a new indie dev every other month at this point.
Which is a good thing for the market.
It is. It means there's lots of variety, even when that variety means bad. But at least isn't being oversaturated with the same thing. Well, sort of, anyways. Regardless.
Every time you get a diamond, we're just trying to look for it.
Yeah, at the very least. But what was I going to say? But Pulsar Studios developing it. Where was I? Had a demo. Oh, I've lost my train of thought once more. Frick. Matthew, quickly, what are your opinions on this game while I try and reconnect myself?
It looks like a game.
It also looks like Diablo combat, but as you're flashing through the picture, but I haven't seen more than that. It could also be turn-based, but
It's not turn-based.
okay, it's Diablo combat.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's probably Diablo combat, which is a good thing because that game is great.
Yeah. It was. And then Blizzard happened, but
Well, the original 2 are good.
Diablo 3 isn't bad. It's just the entire game was massively destroyed by the auction house.
Yeah. And then
They removed the auction house and the game was suddenly good.
Yeah. Also, we don't talk about Immortal.
No, nobody talks about Immortal.
That game does not exist.
Don't you guys have cell phones?
Yes.
So such a fucking tone deaf comment. Regardless, being released May 2023. So once again, fairly soon in regards to release windows, anyways. Just a couple months away. 6 months, I guess, because May is the 5th month of the year. Is it? Yes. So 6 months. It's a decent amount of time, but regardless. Anyway.
Let's head on to the next one, shall we?
Yeah,
Unless
I guess
you have
we
some comments.
should. I had something in my mind that I felt like I wanted to say, but it's just completely vanished for some reason. Hold on. Let me. Oh, I remember now. I'm not sure if it appears that it's only being released on Steam, as far as I can tell, for now. So there's that. But yeah. That was Arran Book of Heroes. Very, very good looking game. I'm quite interested in it, and I will be playing the demo soon enough. So I'll be able to report back to you next week on that. Next up, we have the launch trailer for Ship of Fools. This is a game that we looked at before. I believe it was during... When was it? It was quite a while ago at this point. We have looked at this before. Yes. We looked at the release date trailer of it a while back. And just to recall, or not recall,
August
but
19th.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But Ship of Fools is a sorry.
Can I recommend we go rapid fire now, because we've got 6 more. We're not even halfway there.
What'd you say?
Do you want to go rapid fire through these now?
Oh man.
This
This is what I get for packing this much in here. But regardless, Ship of Fools is I'll just try and get through this. But Ship of Fools is if I can fucking find this thing. Yeah. Ship of Fools is a roguelite action multiplayer game, which is the most generic thing I could possibly say. But the general thing, it has this very nice looking cartoony sort of art style. with like it's frogs and all that other stuff. The whole game is you're on a ship sailing through areas as you're slowly being attacked by monsters and the like. And you repair your ship, attack everything with cannons on your ship. You upgrade your ship to get to make things better, make things easier and better for yourself. So yeah, just your general like thing.
That
General
seems
roguelike.
like it would be good as a multiplayer game. If it
Yes.
is multiplayer.
It is co-op. You can co-op with your friend to go through this delicious journey of horror, most likely, because it's a roguelite. So you got to get through, and everyone sings. There's been quite a few trailers for this as of late, but this was the launch, so it is out now. It has come out on all of the consoles you like so much, as well as Steam. Developed by Fika Productions, published by Team 17, another very well-known indie publisher. They have a lot of background in very good published games, like Overcooked and all of the like. Overcooked, Moving Out, Bravely Greed. Team 17 has published a lot of really good indie games. They have a pretty good reputation for that. Goodness gracious.
Almost like Devolver.
Yeah, they are. They're another like Devolver Digital like. They just have a good reputation for
finding the gems.
Yeah, finding good stuff.
Okay. And when is this guy out? When is this one out?
It is out.
Oh, yeah.
It came out. I'm a little late to the party on this one. It's already been out for over a month, give or take. Well, actually, only about a month. It released November 22nd, so it's been about 2 weeks since it released. So I'm a little late on the party of this one, but still, it is what it is. So you can see all of this good stuff within it. You got anything to say, Matthew? Can we just speed?
I don't have that much to say now.
All right then. I'm sure I don't have to do a lot of selling with this one. It's already out. It's already been fairly popular from the looks of it. So, if you've already seen it, which you probably have, it's good. Or at the very least it's popular. So, and then it's Ship of Fools. I mean, I like the look of it. It does look cool and interesting. Regardless, let's see. Let me check something really quickly. All right. I wish to check. You're already. No, you're not out. I'm just going through these very quickly to see something. If you would load faster, please. Why you gotta be like this? All right. And then you. And all right. I mean, we could probably whiff through the rest of these pretty quickly. Yeah, fuck it. Next up on the trails is Lone Ruin. Sorry, I wasted some time there. I was just checking something. We got Lone Ruin. This is another isometric. This is a very me pick if you've been with us a while. It's an isometric Souls-like, because I'm a basic bitch, apparently. This is a roguelike twin stick shooter that is also Souls-like as well, because, you know. Oh, I didn't even read the synopsis for Ship of Fools. That's fine. Whatever. But Lone Ruin, in regards to this, venture into an old magical ruin to seek an ancient power in this highly replayable roguelite twin stick shooter. Optimize spells and build ultimate combos to defeat twisted monstrosities and delve deeper into the Lone Ruin. This, as that synopsis entails, it is what it is, I guess. God, I'm terrible at this. It looks really fun. Yeah, that's a good description. Thanks for that, Brain. I'm glad I'm here to help. I'm glad I'm here to help on this fucking amazing quest of excellence. But Lone Ruin, I wish I could go to other things while looking at this. But Lone Ruin, as you can see, or not see, but regardless, it's a fast-paced twin stick shooter. I guess you could say it's kind of in the vein of like Enter the Gungeon, actually, is a good sort of descriptor. If you've played or heard of that, it's kind of in similar vein.
Looks like it.
Hard as nails. You know, go deeper and deeper to go about why isn't this loading? Thank you. Hard as nails shooter, going deeper and deeper, making your character stronger, getting stronger abilities, all that stuff, fighting ridiculous bullet hell bosses, all of that good stuff. Yeah, Lone Ruin, very, very good looking. Spells, survive the chaos, all of that. Cool stuff.
Is this another single party developer?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I was like, okay, I guess we can move on. And then it's like, no. This is being developed, if I can get rid of this. This is being developed by Cuddle Monster Games and published by Super Rare Originals, which is Super Rare Originals appears to be browse features. Hold on. So it's being Cuddle Monster Studios, which, if I can get this to work, come on. They are not a new developer. Well, I mean, they technically are, but like they have other stuff. They have released another game before this called Hell is Other Demons, which, if I may look at this fairly quickly, this is another action roguelike, except it's a 2D platformer. Looks more, yeah, it's like a 2D platformer and you're shooting stuff. It's another roguelike type thing. This also looks good, but this is already out and came out 3 years ago. So, you know, they at least have some amount of reputation. Super Rare Originals, as far as I can tell, is just I mean, it's a video game publisher based in London. I don't think they've published very many things. It doesn't look like they have anyways. They've published some Switch titles. Yeah, they published some Switch titles and some kind of like cartoony platformer. I think they've probably done other stuff, but that's what it looks like to me for some reason. Regardless, coming out, this game we're talking about, Lone Ruin, is coming out January 12th. So not too far away from the end on this one. Looks good, plays presumably good as well. And yeah, that's, I guess, all I have to say about that one. Lone Ruin looks very enticing. I'd also, hold on. Yeah, it's coming to Nintendo Switch and Steam, so you have multiple places to look forward to. Next up on the docket, unless either of you want to make a quick, like, opinions.
What are we on?
Lone Ruin. Like, do you have any like minor opinions on Lone Ruin?
No.
Okay. No?
Not at all.
Okay. Good to know. Next up, we have... What?
Next roguelite.
This isn't a roguelike.
Oh, good.
Next
I'm
up is
sorry.
Chained Echoes. Chained Echoes is a 16-bit NES-style RPG set in a fantasy world, which is a very generic... it's a very generic sounding thing, but I can tell you this is not generic. Well, I mean, I guess it's atypical of RPGs with a 16-bit style, but like it still looks really good.
I'm sorry.
What?
Chrono Trigger clone?
What'd you say?
Chrono Trigger clone.
No, go away. Just because Chrono Trigger is a JRPG doesn't mean it is all RPGs.
I'm just joking.
What?
Just trying to make a bad joke. Never
Okay.
mind.
I figured it was joke at least.
The game itself looks very... it has very like nice looking detailed pixel art, which I mean, you can get that pretty good nowadays. It's more standard. It has a more standard take on the RPG fare with turn-based combat. Chained combat. There is some giant knight mech warrior thingies that you can do. There's a nice looking overworld and all of that. Chained Echoes. What was the other thing? It was... Yes, it looks very, very good in regards to that. But take up your I will read. Take up your sword, channel your magic, or board your mech. Chained Echoes is a 16-bit style RPG set in a fantasy world where dragons are as common as piloted mechanical suits. If I can, does it not have a coming? There it is. Okay. Sorry. So it has, according to, if I can get this open. So you can just, I'll just speed through a bit of this and then go on to this. So it has turn-based combat. What was it? I read something. I read something about it having like it's a turn-based combat system, but it also is like active combat or something. I read something about it that apparently it's not mutual exclusive. So it might... Oh, I remember now. So the way it works is, the way the combat system works is that you don't... It is turn-based, but everything, every action will happen actively. So you just tell somebody to do it and they will do it. So it's not like you tell somebody to make an attack and they go forward and you can just move on to the next in a sequence instead of like, because usually in RPGs it's like you tell your whole party to attack or whatever, so it's usually like you tell each party member to do something and then it all happens in a sequence. But in this case it's just you go down the line as everything happens actively, which is interesting. I will say it is definitely interesting. Being developed by Matthias Linda. Matthias
Matthias.
Yeah, Matthias Linda, which is the name of a person. I mean, yes. Okay. So this is being developed by one person, Matthias Linda. That's why it's listed as developer. He is the development team. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. Is known for chained echoes. Yeah. So actually, very, very impressive. Considering it's just a one-man developer. It's also being published by Deck 13. Deck 13 Interactive. I mean, they've. Oh wow! They actually published. They developed this. Oh, that's interesting. So Deck 13 are the developers of The Surge, if you remember that game. For those of you who don't, The Surge was a Dark Souls. It's like a technology-based Dark Souls. I think that's what it was anyways. Yeah, technology-based Dark Souls. So it was like set in this weird future area, and it was very much like Dark Souls because it was like slow. Anyway, you get the point. The Surge, they're developers of The Surge, so they actually have a somewhat decent reputation for that. In terms of games published, they've published some pretty well-known titles as well. All right then. Also, I would like to say, when I first saw this game, I was like, haven't we talked about this at one point? Because I thought initially that this game was Sea of Stars, which was a game, which is another 60 like pixelated RPG fantasy game that we have looked at, but no new information has come out about that. And regardless of many things, so yes, chained echoes. I mean, if you like RPGs, you like RPGs, right? That's generally how the saying goes. If you like mechs, you like jazz. What am I doing? But yes. Chained Echoes will be coming to Windows, Mac, Linux, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch on December 7th / December 8th. It'll be coming out on Steam on December 7th, but it might be releasing slightly later for a bunch of consoles and otherwise. And that is Chained Echoes, I suppose. Anything else to rattle off on the ticket? You're muted.
You're muted.
No, not really. Sorry, dogs are barking in the background.
All right, then. Let me check one more thing. Did I say when it was being released? This December, like literally in like a week. It's coming out in like a week. Chained Echoes. Coming out.
Okay. Good to know.
So lots of lots of.
Okay.
Lots of. All right. We have a couple more trailers. Well, we've already come this far. If I wanted to cut it off early, I probably should have earlier. Whatever. Next up is Aka, or AK, Aka. It's spelled AKA, Aka.
So I bothered to go and look at the Steam page, and I read off the Steam page. It was a third-person puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
With
What
the
is?
pretty art style. Okay.
Aka, right. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not wrong. It is indeed that. It's this very nice looking, like, it kind of looks hand drawn, or it has this nice painted art style. You play as a red panda, with the thickest red panda. He is incredibly wide.
It seems like the kind of game where you'd sit down and you'd relax to play for it for a little while.
Yeah, it's I don't necessarily disagree with that fact.
Being a puzzle game, you could see some pretty good elements. You'll probably see again, the best example of a good puzzle game is Portal, but
I mean, I suppose.
there's a lot of other options. Another game similar to what I've seen of this that is released recently was RIM, RIM.
Mm-hmm.
I think it released 2 years ago. Same idea, peaceful puzzle game where you solve puzzles and progress a story.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. But sorry, my brain broke for a second. Yeah. Sir, you see RIM?
RIM, RIM.
Right, okay. I've heard of that game before. My brain paused. I was like, let me just catch up to myself.
It was interesting when I played it. I will say, not spoiling the ending, but I will say I called the ending 3 chapters into the game, so it wasn't very deep. Like I was able to word for word call what the ending was going to be. But I also know about mythology, and it did run a little bit of that, so you'll have to play the game to figure it out, what I mean. But it's pretty obvious what they're going for by the 3rd chapter.
All right.
Of the game. No spoilers, because it's not actually bad. It's just very obvious.
Right. I get you. Makes sense.
This one looks very different, though. It looks like a sort of wandering, adventuring puzzle game.
Yeah. There's some like farming elements and otherwise. It's like a puzzly life sim, farm sim, cute, relaxing. I'm just reading text on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll read this now. Find inner peace in a small open world game on these carefully handcrafted islands. You can take a nap on a giant monster, feed baby dragons, take care of the fauna and flora, but demons from your past might come back to remind you what what you want to forget. Twinge of mystery, because of course it is. Of course, there's a twinge of mystery in a very cutesy, like, puzzly life sim thingy. Of course, there's a twinge of mystery. Why wouldn't there be?
Hopefully, this is not like they're not saying twinge of mystery like the literature club game.
Doki Doki
Said that
Literature
when they
Club?
first published it.
Doki Doki
Yeah.
Literature Club?
Yeah.
Literature. I mean, that game was like that
When it
game
first-
was intentionally a creepypasta. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even really call it a parody. It's like a weird, I guess you could call it a deconstruction of like a visual novel dating sim, but like not really.
It was a thing. Let's get off of that game.
I mean, yeah, it's a thing. Regardless, there's also some rhythm game elements in this as well. That's kind of fun. Regardless, Aka is being developed by Cosmoto Gato and published by Newiz. I'm just going to I personally haven't heard of either of these, so there's that. Let me just. No, that's not what I meant to do. I keep doing that by accident. I keep just clicking on things. Open. No! Oh my god. Cosmoto Gato. This is another. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Cosmoto Gato, it appears, was founded quite a long time ago. This is their first and only game out of the studio, and being published by Newiz, or however you would pronounce this.
So this has been on work for a little while.
Which is another game publisher, South Korean game publisher. It has its own game portal, blah, 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 get points. Interesting. So they at least have a modicum of influence.
Okay.
And Cosmo Gato, or whatever. And yeah.
Do we even need to guess what the next one is?
What'd you say?
Do we even need to guess what the next one's about?
Maybe. But yeah, that's before we get to that. Aka is coming out December 14th for Nintendo Switch and Steam. So you can look forward to that soonish if it piques your interest that much. Next up on the table, after we get through the trailers, I think I'm just going to try and speed through a bit of the news and then just call it there, because holy shit, we went way longer than I expected. Well, not longer than I expected, but like, geez, man, there's so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
next,
we've only gone an hour over than what I've expected.
Yeah, next up on the docket, Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider is an action platformer in the vein of your old school NES hard action platformers such as Ninja Gaiden. In fact, this game is very Ninja Gaiden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden or yeah,
but you play as Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. Action platformer like Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden. You're starring as a.
it's got a demo.
It does, and I was about to mention that. This is another game that has a demo if you want to try before you buy, but even then, this game looks fantastic in many ways. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider is a side-scrolling action platformer that channels the golden age of classic 16-bit action games in a full-throttle quest for revenge. Created to defend a totalitarian state, the Moonrider rejects its programming and now seeks vengeance on its creators. So yeah, you play as You play as a cyborg, basically a cyborg samurai who's seeking vengeance on its creators for just being bad people, apparently. And you know what? That's all the plot you need.
That is all the plot you need.
Yes. But you run, jump, and claw your way through enemies and obstacles. There is, I believe, if I just go down here really quickly. So there are some RPG elements in this as well. Where was it? Yeah. You can design combat. Yeah, okay. Powerful modifier chips hidden and guarded throughout the adventure, allowing you to customize the Moonrider's fighting style while gaining killer advantages and abilities. So you can find chips that'll upgrade your abilities and give you different fighting styles. Very nice looking pixelated 16-bit graphics that genuinely look very, very good. Like, we've had several pixelated things throughout this, I believe, but like, damn, this looks super polished. Like, even for like general pixel aesthetic graphics. But yeah, striking gauntlet across the plane of existence or whatever this. But yes. Vengeful, yes, being developed by Joy Smasher and published by the Arcade Crew, which, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I've heard the Arcade Crew before. I'm pretty sure the Arcade Crew is, you know what I really wish? I wish I had a second monitor, so I could just pull things up on the second monitor and not interrupt what's going on right now.
I wish I had headphones so I could use my second monitor. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, Vengeful Guardian Moonrider, as was stated, has a demo, and it's coming out, so you can very much try this. This is the second game. I'm also going to be playing this and reporting on it. It'll be out. Well, actually, no, it won't be out. If it won't be out by the time the next podcast is out. So I'll at least be able to report on some stuff in regards to that. Let me just have a quick look. I'm pretty sure Joy Smasher is probably another new developer, because that usually seems to be the case. I was wrong on this one. Joy Smasher is actually, they have quite a few games. If this will open. There we go. Okay. Joy Smasher have made. Oh, why is this? Why is it like this? Can I just look at their things? Can I please? Okay. So at least they've been around a while. They've actually been around since 2012. And their first game was in 2012, Oniken. Why haven't I heard of this before?
There's a lot of games you don't hear.
Well, I will say Vengeful Guardian Moonrider is exactly in their wheelhouse, because that appears to be their main genre that they like to create. This sort of like pixelated 2D platformer Ninja Gaiden-esque type thing. And the Arcade Crew is another indie publisher. They've published. Why do these websites have to be 1,000? What the hell? Why do all these websites have to be like 1,000% unloadable?
Internet. That's why.
Well, they've published a few of Joy Smasher's games before. Young Souls. I feel like I've heard of this. Oh, Young Souls. They also published Young Souls, which is a game we have looked at before. Young Souls is a very cool co-op roguelite thing. I won't go into detail about that, but they've published games that we looked at before and have come out thinking that they look pretty cool. So yeah, Vengeful Guardian Moonrider coming out for your local consoles, or at least PS4, at least PlayStation and Switch, as well as Steam on December 12th, or January 12th, sorry. For some reason, I thought it was December, so it's coming out next month, January 12th, and there is a demo available, as I've said before, so just have fun with that. All right. Last on the docket. This is a bit of an odd choice, or at least I think both of you will think that in regards to me. Let's School is a school management sim. And for some reason in the trailer they use In the Hall of the Mountain King as the backtrack, which is funny. But it's, I mean, just from the trailer alone, like it looks like a very, very comprehensive school sim in the vein of like, I mean, if you've ever played any of these like isometric build your things and manage them, it's a management sim, and like, it's a genre, but like for this game in particular, it looks really, really extensive. Like you can make the schools pretty freaking big. You can make the schools pretty freaking big from the trailers, or from the trailer alone, and which is pretty cool. Overall, Let's School is a pixel-style sim game. It incorporates interesting school events from different schools in Asia. As a headmaster, the player can build school. Build school. Manage teachers and train students. Furthermore, each character has its own attributes. So there is no official release date for this one. It is just coming soon. From the looks of it, being developed and published by Pythia Games. This is another in the long list of probably new developer area, which is a pretty safe bet usually. You can build your school, customize your students, face school devilment. Whatever. Yeah, like genuinely, like this looks very, very, like if you're into if you're into like simulation management games, like this looks like an incredibly like comprehensively built one. Like it looks very, very polished for something that we don't even have a definitive release date for. So that's pretty cool overall. It genuinely looks very, very cool. Yeah, overall, I would say very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I'll look up Pythia Games regardless, but well, wait, really? My time? Huh. They actually have a pretty substantial wheelhouse for games. They developed My Time at Porta, which is a game I've seen several occasions. I think it's like I think this is another management farming sim. My Time at Porta. I've seen this before. For those of you who remember what it is, very interesting. Regardless, they are not a new developer in that case. They are actually fairly experienced. So I take back what I said. I apologize for assuming they were new. Regardless, and at least appears to be in the wheelhouse. So coming soon sometime next year. If you ever thought Sim ever, yeah. So yeah. Anything to add?
No, I got nothing.
All right, and that is the end of trailers. That was like 11 trailers, I think. Yeah.
Too many trailers in one podcast.
Who cares? So that was 11 trailers that we just ran through at a speed unprovoked, hereto unheard of by mortal man. And
It's a lot of trailers.
yeah, so so now that that's over with, I'm just gonna take one moment aside to shill for a game, and then we will move on. So have you ever wanted to play as a unicorn in a Skyrim-esque environment? Well, now you can with Unicorn Tales. This is a game from 2022 where you play as a unicorn in a Skyrim-esque adventure. There, I will just read the Explore Unicorn Tales, a game filled with wonder, whimsy, and mystery, where you can create your own unicorn, interact with unicorns and other creatures, solve puzzles, explore deep lore, and live in a fantasy world. I will say, I have seen quite a lot of this game. They do not, the deep lore is not a lie. There is deep unicorn lore.
That sounds interesting. I don't
Yes.
know how to feel about that.
There is deep, deep lore in this amazing unicorn game. Yeah, you have like this big, you explore Unicorn Island, which is like this big environment. There's honestly honestly, there is a fairly large amount of content for a game that's only about $10. Like, there is deep lore and weirdness, and as of, it also has something you might not expect given the presentation of the game. It actually has a professional voiceover for all of the characters and otherwise. Has a full professional voice acting and voiceover for all of the characters and whatnot. And yeah, Unicorn Tales, go fucking purchase this game. It is amazing in every conceivable fashion. You will not be disappointed by the deep lore, I can assure you.
Sounds interesting.
Yes. Anyways, okay, that was my host topic because I wanted to take a moment just to shill for something. It's really funny.
Still a good game we've seen.
Yes, it's genuinely very good. So first off, I'm just kind of and then we're going into news. So okay, I guess we'll talk about this first since it's the most. All right, so the Super Mario Brothers movie has had their second trailer has come out recently. It shows more of the film and what it shows more of Peach and Luigi and Toad and what their involvement is in it. If you've seen the new Mario Brothers trailer, there's also some weird more leaked footage of the movie. I'm not entirely sure where that came from. But there is some also like new footage that came from somewhere that was being talked about. But I'm just gonna go through a quick breakdown of the trailer and then we will talk about my feelings. This will not take very long. So, second trailer for trailer showcases a good look at the film version of Princess Peach, voiced by Anya Taylor-Joy, who's just doing her normal voice, even though side note, basically every character except for Jack Black is just doing their normal voice, and only Chris Pratt is getting shit for it. So fuck you.
Yeah.
That's just a side note because God, the discourse around this film has been killing me on the inside. Overall, it comes to the scene. If you're that blah blah Nintendo nerd, yeah, there's a lot of fan service in this film with different Mario locales and Easter eggs. So, opening shot, Donkey Kong species, huge. There's a huge stadium. There's Cranky Kong in there. There's also in the background snippets of a bunch of other Donkey Kong characters like Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong, Swanky Kong. Fucking Swanky Kong. Also, the design of Donkey Kong in this seems to vaguely harken back to his original arcade machine design instead of his more modern design.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's also a crowd shot of Bowser minions included from like Koopa Troopers, Paratroopers, Goombas, Piranha Plants, Shy Guys, Bomb-Bombs, and Hammer Bros. Surrounded by... Yeah, there's also... let's see. Yeah, we get to see the invasion that Bowser invasion of Mushroom Kingdom, the layout of the Mushroom Kingdom. There's like a map of it. Lava. There's a map of the Mushroom Kingdom with like desert level, lava level. Actually, no, it wouldn't be desert level. It would be Sahasrara land, where Daisy is from. Yeah. We get to see Peach being, well, I would say being more active, but like that isn't a new thing for Peach. Like Peach Peach, oh whatever, I'll just fucking regardless, she's seen more active in this film at the very least, actively taking up arms against Bowser in her bike outfit. There's also, yeah, classic looking Mario level is, I'll get to that. Yeah, lots of obviously Rainbow Road also got shown off in a Mario Kart level. There's power-ups, there's Yoshi's, all of that good stuff. Funky Kong appears. Anyways, so that took longer than I wanted it to. But yeah, lots of stuff if you're a nerd or a fan of Nintendo and you're only qualifying and the only qualifying thing you look for in a film is nostalgia bait. But you know, maybe you like that if you want it. Also, the new like leaked footage that I found, or it has been being talked about, has more dialogue from Chris Pratt. Especially, we get to hear more of his actual voice. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. It works enough. I will say Kevin, or what is his name? Michael Keegan. What is his name? The guy who voices Toad. He's a comedian. Michael Keegan or whatever. I can't remember his name. Honestly, people were praising him in the initial trailer when he voiced Toad, but now that I've heard more of it, it's like, man, that voice really does not fit Toad fucking at all. It really doesn't. I don't know what it is. It doesn't.
Yeah.
There's something about it. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I don't care very much just because like I don't really care about this film, but like yeah, it's kind of weird that that's what he sounds like, especially since the other Toads have more like higher pitched Toady voices. I don't know. It's kind of a weird decision.
Definitely gonna be an interesting watch. We'll see.
yeah, I get to see more of Charlie Day's Luigi, who again is just doing his regular voice and is being praised for it. All right. I spent more time on this than I initially thought I would, but getting to the main crux of the issue, this new Mario movie trailer honestly has made me actively dislike the film as a whole. Well, not as a whole, but it did make me actively dislike the film to some degree. The reason for that is because it has my least favorite children's movie plot ever, which is character from real world goes to other world and is fish out of water, which is my least favorite thing.
Oh yeah.
Like they literally they use the classic Mario levels, like 2D ones, are for Mario to train. It's like this weird obstacle course thing for him to train at to like be better at fighting Bowser. It's like, man, that sucks. That's really stupid.
I'm gonna point out my phone's nearly dead, so I'm gonna drop off the call in about.
Yeah, okay.
5 minutes.
Anyways, Mario.
Oh.
Okay, I wanted to get this out of the way first because this is the most recent thing, and like we can talk more about it later. But like, I really
frustrates you.
It frustrates me because I just hate that fucking plot so much. It's the most overdone thing in existence. Every animated / live action semi-children's film for the past 10 years has been using it. One more random thing before we go on to shameless self-promotion in the show.
Yeah, we don't.
What?
Is it? Actually, I know what the name of the trope is. Isekai.
Yeah, it is vaguely isekai, which is another thing that I don't like because it's so overdone, but man.
Yeah, at least it's not a truck.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Kill Mario in the beginning of the film.
So one more thing before we go on is there's this really stupid thing that I found, or not found, but looked at. So Retrofusion, a sort of band. So David Wise and Grant Kirkhope, along with Kevin Belize, have released a video game Christmas song. It's just really funny and weird. For those of you who don't know, Grant Kirkhope and David Wise are both veteran composers that worked at Rare back in their heyday. Specifically, David Wise was the composer for the original Donkey Kong Country series. Grant Kirkhope is most famous for composing for Banjo-Kazooie and otherwise. So yeah, they got some pretty big teeth on them, and that's not just because they're British. Sorry, but yeah, I will just. I'm sorry. It's just this stupid song, this stupid video game song is honestly pretty catchy, and I'm just gonna
Christmas
bit of it.
And what would you like this year? Me?
Hold on, I don't need to share my screen.
I'm not so.
Can't I just share audio? Yeah, there we go.
Video game?
So I'm just gonna.
One of them.
Yeah, that's a song.
I'm gonna get copyright struck for this.
If you let it play for very long.
Hold on, I'm just gonna move.
Days I used to love.
I'm just gonna go to the chorus.
Here comes family. Here
So
I help me for all my younger years. I want a video
no, it's stopped.
game for Christmas. I need a video game for Christmas.
You might want to stop it now.
All right, sorry. It's really dumb, and it's actually pretty catchy. And I just thought it was really cute and weird.
Yeah, that would be catchy.
Anyways, Also, Microsoft is selling mini hoodies for their Xbox controllers, and that is all I will say about that. Moving on. We'll talk about the rest of the news next week. Sorry, guys. We went longer than anticipated. So, shameless self-promotion, the part of the show where we promote our shelves aimlessly. Zach, go first. Promote yourself if you have anything to promote. You're muted.
I have no active social media accounts, so I don't really have much to promote right now. So
All right, cool.
maybe when that thing that we're planning to do actually happens, but
Yeah,
We're
then
gonna
you'll
be
have
able to
something
write the
promote.
script soon, so
I'll have an
Yeah.
active account, but
Right.
we'll see.
All right, then. Matthew, got anything to shamelessly self-promote?
I'm gonna have a video out soon on my Telegram channel. I've just been very busy and haven't had enough time to properly edit it, and also read my lines from my script because people have been talking in the background.
Right.
It's like, yes, I want to catch my whole household on audio.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is one of
That's
the
the hard
penalties of not currently having.
Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
You know. Anyway, so I'll have a video out hopefully sooner than later. We'll see how long it takes me to edit it time-wise. I might have time tonight. I think I will. And then I don't know if I'll have time to edit more tomorrow. I wanted to get it out 2 days ago, but you know, stuff happened.
Right. All right. Anything else?
Life. I don't use Twitter.
Neither do I, even though I have one. Speaking of which, I'm on Twitter, except I don't. Is that it
What?
for you, Matthew?
Yeah, that was all.
Okay. Yes. Podcast will continue to come out as per usual, hopefully. We're in the Christmas season, so there might be another slight gap depending on what happens. Presumably not, though. I don't think Christmas is on a Saturday. I mean, I'll probably want to take a break anyways, but you get the point. I still have that other project in the works, but like I said, I wanted to play Dark Souls 2 first beforehand, and I'm still planning on just doing that. Also, I need to do more research before that happens. Regardless, yeah, podcasts will continue to come out on YouTube and SoundCloud. I am technically on Twitter, but I only really post when the episode goes lives. I made a tweet about how I don't like the Mario movie like a day ago, and that's basically the only activity that's been on there. Other than that, I don't have anything else to self-promote other than the channel you are currently on. So enjoy that. And I guess that brings us to the end of the show now, doesn't it?
It does.
Thank you all thank you all so much for watching this episode of the GTD Podcast. If you liked it, you liked it. You can find everything we talked about in the description or pinned comment below if you are on YouTube, or the pinned comment below. You get the point. There's a description on SoundCloud. I put everything there. There's a description on YouTube, except nobody looks at the description on YouTube because nobody looks at it, and they changed how it looks. So I don't blame you for not looking at it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I guess that's about it. We'll talk about the rest of the news we had prepared next week. And yeah, see you all next time, I guess. I don't know.
Ooh, see ya.
We're bad at endings.
Bye.
There
Bye.
you go. There you go.